Hello, I'm Fred, and I'm going to be talking to you today around why dashboards don't equal knowledge. And you may find in your business that it's the changes, the projects, the transformations, the organizational changes, you're tracking them. People are filling out information that goes into dashboards. You're tracking all the information, but you still feel none the wiser. So we're going to look at this and say, what are the reasons it doesn't work? This is a really, really simple view of scope, cost, and time, which in 7Q language is what, when, and how much. And they are the second, sixth, and seventh question. The first reason the dashboard isn't helping is because nobody is tracking the why. The benefits, the purpose, the reason for doing the project in the first place is often missed in project dashboards. And it doesn't need checking every stage gate or every few months. It should be tracked weekly. This is everyone's main focus, to achieve the purpose of the project. And because they focus on achieving the scope, not the purpose, you often don't achieve the benefits. So the why is missing. Get why, the purpose on your dashboard. Specifically, every week. Will we hit purpose? Will we hit? The next thing that comes up are then rules. Rules. What does a red, amber, or green mean? You see in this RAG status, red, amber, green. What constitutes red, amber, green? Is it really clear? Or is it subject to someone's feeling on a given day? I'm going to put red today because I feel this project's really doing my head in. I'm going to put green today. I'm feeling positive. We're going to be okay. You can't operate like that. For example, with cost, red might mean we're more than 10% over budget forecast, or maybe it's a number, we're more than 10K over budget. Time might be, if it's more than 2 or 4 weeks late, we go to red. If it's less than that, we stay green. There needs to be rules. Now, there's also a set of rules required then for governance and change. For example, a project goes red. It's more than 4 weeks late. What happens then? In many organizations, the project just stays red. It becomes a sea of red. All the project dashboards just red, and the only projects that aren't red are the brand new ones because they start green and then go red. What information is coming through to you at this point? You don't know, because the project that was 2 or 3 or 4 weeks late to begin with suddenly becomes 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and no one's got a grip of it. So what's required is you take a project in red and you say re-baseline, which basically says you look at its status, you reforecast all the aspects of it. How long is it going to take us to finish this off? How much is it going to realistically cost us? Who do we need to do it? And let's agree that. And we put it back to green. When it's back to green, you're now tracking a green project. You've accepted reality, and now the project has to operate within the same old rules again. If you're more than 2 weeks late, you have to go back to red. Now, this means that you're starting to understand what stays green after a couple of resets and what keeps going back to red. It allows you to see which project leaders are being honest with how their project is progressing versus project leaders that are trying to just get through and massage the results as much as they can. It's very easy for a project leader, once a project's red, to take little accountability for the outcomes. Whereas if you've set them back to green and said, tell me what you need to do, and I'll give you my consent, and you go back to being green, the accountability is now back on the project leader. When it's red, it's really on the leadership team, and not doing anything about it means that the team won't do anything about it either. So accountability is key. And accountability falls under the who. People having clear roles around what the project leader's role is and what the leadership team's role is in feeding back. For example, when the report goes in from the project leader to the leadership, it's very often not the case that there's a feedback loop. You need a feedback loop from the leadership team to the project leader to say, okay, I recognize that you've sent in a report, that you're having problems, that you've got issues, that you can't get the resources. And we as a leadership team are going to take decisions. Are we going to prioritize? Are we going to put this project back? Are we going to do something different? But just ignoring and having no feedback loop doesn't help your business. So in order to make dashboards useful, it's really around making sure you're tracking why you're doing your project. In 7Q, we track all 7 questions because they're all pertinent. Having rules around what constitutes red, amber, green is key. Having governance and change control about resetting projects back to green and then tracking them again and keep bringing them back into change control. And then making sure everyone is accountable. They're the key reasons that your dashboards are not working. See you next time.